In the parallel world Blue Star, a holographic game appeared over a century ago. People eagerly touched the magical light login gates. But soon, monsters and giant bosses flooded in. Even gods and demons from the game materialized, threatening the world. Humans were forced to awaken professions, fight, and seek supremacy. During the ritual, Sun Xiaoli awakened as a forge master under the supervisor's approval. The crowd mocked her lowly job until the strict supervisor ordered silence. Next, Wang Tiantu confidently awakened as a holy knight, radiating majesty. Everyone cheered, admiring his rare profession. When he stood still, the supervisor scolded him to leave, and Wang Tiantu bowed hurriedly. The supervisor then called the next name, Zhou Yi. Zhou Yi stepped forward, drawing admiring gazes, and took a deep breath. A small stone shot down like lightning. When it hit the ground, dark power erupted around his feet. Glowing words appeared as the supervisor shouted in shock, "Thief!" The crowd buzzed, praising the rarity and agility of this class. Zhou Yi focused on his status panel, showing basic stats and starting points. Wang Tiantu's friends mocked him, calling his class useless in battle. Onlookers pitied Zhou Yi, thinking he'd fail the coming trial, but he ignored them. He examined his skill list: Insight Vision, Divine Hand, and Weapon Master, each with unique traits. His main skill, Insight Vision, caused true damage briefly, and its description hinted something strange. He read Divine Hand, allowing theft of items, stats, or skills nearby, limited to twice. He doubted it was a normal thief skill since most could only steal money, not powers. Finally, Weapon Master granted passive use of all weapons, inspiring his dual-blade idea. Leaving the area, he wondered if his unusual skills came from a special system gift. A supervisor advised him not to mind others and to train with his new profession. He smiled confidently, saying the thief class was rare and valuable. Passing Wang Tiantu's group, he met their mocking eyes and vowed to prove himself in the novice trial. They sneered, saying his class could never match Wang Tiantu, the top knight. The buzz-cut guy laughed wildly, his friends threatening to crush him in the game. Zhou Yi stayed silent, determined to prove thieves weren't weak. As night fell, the city glowed with countless neon lights. In a small room, the system confirmed his nickname and urged him to keep faith. Zhou Yi frowned, dismissed it, and chose to enter the game with his real face. He quickly skipped the system tutorial to save time. A glowing armory appeared, and the system asked him to choose a starter weapon. Without hesitation, he picked dual swords, the symbol of masculine valor. Light flashed to confirm, and the system announced the novice trial. A warning appeared, success rate 0%. He was instantly pulled into the game world. Looking at his new outfit, he was amazed by the instant transformation tech. Before adapting, an emergency alert appeared. The first wave of monsters surrounded him. Thousands of red eyes glared, murderous intent filling the air. A grotesque monster approached, roaring hungrily, holding a massive wooden club. Zhou Yi stayed calm, gripping his swords to test his true power. He waited for the enemy to approach for a perfect strike. As it lunged, he activated his skill, showing the ability to steal 3 types of nearby elements. Zhou Yi's ears glowed blue as the system scanned the target, recording club and fangs. He wondered why he stole such trivial weapons. The disarmed monster froze, while a bigger one roared and attacked. The system reminded him stolen items were random and became his tools. Zhou Yi cursed angrily, feeling tricked by the game. The enraged monster screamed to tear him apart. 55, the attack came suddenly. He blocked with the club, struggling to resist and doubting the skill's function. Then he activated Insight Vision, his eyes glowing red. The skill revealed enemy weak points, letting him land a critical strike and thrilling him. The monster swung its club, but Zhou Yi dodged nimbly. The system explained his unlimited weapon mastery. Seizing the chance, Zhou Yi slashed like lightning. The blade aimed straight at the monster's head. The strike made it howl as green blood burst and the system doubled critical damage. The remaining monsters panicked, seeing their strongest ally slain instantly. Zhu Yi pondered his tactics, dropped the broken club, and wondered about the skill's limits. He charged again with powerful attacks as the system added points and rewarded weapons. After victory, Zhou Yi studied the interface, understanding the game's mechanics. He realized the key was combining thief skills to unlock divine potential. A danger alert flashed as a new wave arrived, but Zhou Yi stood firm, ready to fight. This time his weapon changed from club to ring. Planting his sword in the ground, Zhou Yi focused, reminding himself to fight cautiously. With one strike, the second group of goblins fell instantly. Notifications chimed rapidly. Stats +1. He quickly concluded that though stats could imbalance, his high agility and dual blade style gave superior base damage, locking the goblin's counterattack. Reviewing his stats, all attributes rose by 16 and he leveled up twice, wiping out the second wave of goblins. Zhou Yi checked. Strength 36, Vitality 28, Spirit 44, Intelligence 26, Endurance 30, HP 200, 400, Mana 120, 180. He guessed the next target must be the unbeatable final boss. A giant creature appeared, roaring and thickening the air with tension. Zhou Yi stayed alert, ordering the small ones to kneel. Just as things seemed calm, a girl suddenly appeared behind him and spoke sweetly. He backed away cautiously as the system displayed data on the night dancer with high stats and deadly skills. He ordered an attack on the girl. She looked directly at Zhou Yi, confidently asking if he was seeking Nuo. A small demon lunged, startling Zhou Yi, who wondered when it appeared. The night imp sneered, mocking his swords as mere decoration. Zhou Yi stayed silent but seethed inside from the insult. Light from divine hand flashed, catching her curious gaze. He seized the moment, moving in to steal items. When she let her guard down, he struck decisively. The night imp scoffed, thinking he couldn't harm her. The system locked onto the target, preparing the next phase. Zhou Yi examined the stolen ring, but she noticed and questioned the theft. Enraged, the night imp screamed to get the ring back, frustrating Zhou Yi for being exposed. The system began a 66-second countdown, forcing him to rethink his plan. He wore the ring, pretending to admire it to buy time, praising its beauty on her hand. She smiled proudly, agreeing it was indeed beautiful. Zhou Yi claimed the loot came from strength, enraging her further. With 5 seconds left on cooldown, he baited her into striking range. The night imp shouted furiously at the stubborn thief. Her fury triggered berserk mode, power surging and pressure thickening the air. The moment came. Zhou Yi steeled himself to strike. With cooldown complete, his strength returned and he faced her confidently. The night imp charged, unleashing 10 steps, 1 kill. The attack shot straight at Zhou Yi. He smiled, realizing the challenge's difficulty was near impossible. She cursed and launched another furious strike. But Zhou Yi blocked the blow successfully. She froze in shock, seeing her attack stopped while he bled from the wound. He exposed her weakness, ready to act at perfect range. Zhou Yi activated Divine Hand, declaring he'd give her a greater shock and steal her dual prison power. The system confirmed he copied the skill 10 steps, 1 kill. The night imp was stunned, realizing her core skill was gone and confusion filled her eyes. While she faltered, Zhou Yi appeared behind, preparing his next move. Activating Insight Vision, his eyes turned crimson and his power surged. He aimed precisely at the weak spot on the back of her neck. The night imp froze in terror, unable to react, completely defeated. Zhou Yi combined Insight Vision with the stolen skill for a critical strike. He delivered the finishing blow, dealing immense damage as the night imp screamed in disbelief at her loss. The female demon collapsed motionless on the ground. With fading breath, she asked Zhou Yi's true identity, unable to believe a thief could do this. He replied firmly, hiding nothing about himself. After victory, the system confirmed the final boss's defeat, and Zhou Yi reflected on the power of his combined abilities. He received the reward, a forbidden relic for conquering the final trial. In the real world, news of Zixing spread, shocking everyone with his mysterious class and power. In the Zhongyin church, eerie laughter echoed through the dark hall, shattering the silence. The source was a masked man with a red eye symbol at the center. Amid raging flames, he ordered his followers to hunt Zhou Yi for sacrifice, and they all obeyed. In contrast, the Blue Star Federation shone with the brilliance of modern civilization. In a classroom, the strict instructor warned that Zixing had drawn the church's attention and must be protected at all costs. Zhu Yi yawned, unaware of the schemes around him, mumbling who might be thinking of him. He gazed at the forbidden chest, rubbing his hands excitedly, eager to open it. The lid slowly lifted. Golden light burst forth as Zhou Yi peered inside, sensing legendary energy. In the game world, treasures were ranked from common wood to supreme diamond, and before him was the pinnacle among them. When the chest fully opened, Zhou Yi's eyes widened in astonishment. A divine sword appeared, a throwing weapon with immense damage that could evolve by killing countless creatures. He gripped the hilt, laughing joyfully, calling it a handheld weapon of destruction. His joy was cut short by knocking and a stranger's voice claiming to be his friend. He tensed slightly, wondering if it was a guest or acquaintance. Thinking quickly, he decided to hide his true identity. He shut down the system and shouted that he'd open the door soon. When he opened it, he directly asked who the visitor was. The calm man introduced himself as a follower of the Zhongyin Church, inviting him to join the cult of their supreme master. As he spoke, he raised his hand, revealing a bloody red sigil radiating dark energy. Zhou Yi recoiled in fear, slammed the door, and considered calling the police, suspecting fanaticism. He grabbed his phone to dial for help, but was immediately noticed. The man blocked the door with his hand, stopping him from closing it. A crimson eye appeared through the crack as his deep voice threatened. Zhou Yi pushed hard but failed against the inhuman strength. The door burst open as the man roared, vowing to send him to meet his master. As he finished speaking, he summoned a blazing red sword. His eyes turned manic, roaring like a beast about to strike. The attack came fast, but Zhou Yi reacted just in time to dodge. He retreated, activating Divine Hand, deciding whether to steal a weapon or skill to weaken the foe first. The system warned that Divine Hand couldn't be used on humans, angering Zhou Yi at the unfair limit. Realizing he had no weapon since he thought he was visiting his sister, he spotted a small knife and chose to rely on it. He gripped the knife tightly in his hand. He activated Insight Vision to find the opponent's weakness. The weak point appeared, but the cloaked man attacked like a storm. Zhou Yi countered with 10 steps, 1 kill, moving like wind and leaving a trail of blood. The man kept chasing, shouting threats and vowing to kill him for defying the church and calling the police. His body ignited violently as he charged with insane strength. Zhou Yi tried to evade, sweating as he realized the strike was too fast. At the critical moment, an arrow pierced the cloaked man's head. He fell dead instantly. A voice called out, "Are you okay?" Another reported, "Cult target eliminated, area secured. Begin cleanup." They moved swiftly and precisely like a special operations unit. They explained about a cult hunting players and told him to contact them if in danger. Zhou Yi thanked them for saving him. The vehicle departed, leaving Zhou Yi and his sister Xiao Yi still in shock. Xiao Yi ran to him in panic, asking if he was hurt or in trouble. She worried he was bullied, making Zhou Yi embarrassed in public. He turned away, saying softly he was fine, just questioned briefly. Then he urged his sister to go home first for safety. Before leaving, Xiao Yi asked what profession and nickname he had awakened, wanting to add him as a friend. Zhou Yi hesitated, unsure how to answer. But she quickly guessed and comforted him, saying even a side job wouldn't stop her from protecting him. He laughed, gently declining her teasing words. He then excused himself as sleepy and went to rest. Her voice calling Xiao Yi echoed behind him. He sat quietly, realizing how fast time had passed and how memories had faded. 18 years ago, after crossing into this world, he was just an abandoned child with no family. Fortunately, Xiao Yi's family took him in. The cheerful girl called him brother and vowed to protect him forever. But their adoptive parents died in an accident, leaving them orphans, Zhou Yi tried to comfort her as she cried bitterly. Back in the present, he knew he was still weak in this vast world. The rescue group's warning echoed in his mind. Contact them if in danger. He nodded in thanks. Thinking of his sister's safety, Zhou Yi clenched his fists, fearing exposure would endanger her. He swore silently for her to wait. Once strong enough, he'd reveal everything. Leaving the city, he went to Mingyue Village, a low-level area, planning to take quests and level up quickly. Zhou Yi remembered the thief mentor living here and planned to learn skills and find quests. In the village, a warrior in golden armor bragged he was brothers with Zixing, impressing everyone. Hearing it from afar, Zhou Yi was speechless, wondering since when he had such a brother. When meeting the mentor, Zhou Yi greeted politely, but was shooed away by two disciples for entering the VIP room. The mentor frowned in annoyance. Irritated, the mentor waved his hand, opened a glowing skill board, and snapped at him to choose. Zhou Yi weighed between poisoned cup, backstab, and stealth, finally picking stealth, angering the drunken mentor. After choosing, he asked for suitable quests, but the impatient mentor dismissed him, mumbling that not everyone deserved his missions. The mentor rasped for 10 gold coins as tuition, mocking that under level 5 he shouldn't dream of quests, making Zhou Yi frown in anger. He turned away as others mocked him, saying he didn't deserve the name Zixing and should grind like a newbie. A blonde girl in the tavern joined in, flattering the mentor and insulting the newcomer. Pleased by the praise, the mentor grew even more arrogant and boastful. Soon after, Zhou Yi returned, tossing a wolf corpse onto the table, shattering it and shocking everyone. Smiling calmly, he apologized and asked, "Am I qualified for a quest now?" leaving the room speechless. The mentor snapped out of it, then forced a flattering smile, directing him north of the village for a leveling quest, secretly doubting Zhou Yi's identity. Receiving the directions, Zhou Yi smiled faintly and confirmed the quest. The scene shifted to the dungeon dark domain, unlocking a new area. Recalling the mentor's words about an easy quest, he sensed something wrong but proceeded anyway. The dungeon gate opened. A scene beyond all expectations appeared before him. Zhou Yi realized he was falling freely into darkness and screamed. Outside, two girls watched, smirking wickedly, believing he had fallen into their trap. The smug mentor laughed, revealing Dark Domain was the hardest dungeon, set as revenge for offending him. The view shifted back inside the dungeon. Zhou Yi crashed to the ground in pain, then heard the system. "You have entered the Dark Domain." Before him stood an army of level 18 Wraith Knights. The mission began. Eliminate 100 enemies in 8 hours. Monsters appeared right after landing, too many for slow attacks, so he decided to try multi-target strikes. He drew the Damocles sword, its blade glowing with dark lightning. Readying his final blow, Zhou Yi shouted a battle command. Another Wraith Knight fell among the 100 foes. A deafening explosion erupted, shrouded in violet lightning. Seeing it, Zhou Yi grew exhilarated, realizing why the weapon was banned for its overwhelming power. After slaying 10 foes, the sword returned, absorbing energy and making him believe victory was near. He smiled, holding the blade confidently while muttering to himself. Explosions erupted rapidly across the entire map. When it ended, he raised his hand to recall the weapon, complaining it was too easy and boring. After the fight, he checked the drops in disappointment. Only some skill books, the rest useless. Suddenly, a powerful sound echoed, forcing him into alert. The boss roared in hatred, vowing revenge for its slain minions. It revealed its true, monstrous form. Zhou Yi shifted to defense, smirking coldly, excited that the real battle had begun. He activated stealth and vanished instantly. The boss panicked, unable to detect him. Zhou Yi appeared behind, used Divine Hand, and triggered the loot notification. A strange item appeared, a mask that could alter face and name temporarily. He sighed at his bad luck while the boss raged furiously. Red smoke burst from its back as it knelt, stabbing its sword into the ground and cursing wildly. It screamed in fury at being robbed right before its eyes. Its body emitted thick red smoke, roaring in pain as the mask flew off, revealing a grotesque, headless serpent face. Zhou Yi panicked, sweating as the boss threatened to use his skin as a new mask. The system announced the Dark Knight's true form revealed, mission updated to eliminate the real body. It transformed, sprouting 6 tentacles from its head, with one red eye glaring murderously at him. The boss silently raised a lightning-coated sword, its aura menacing. It roared, unleashing dark cross engrave. The black blade shot forward at extreme speed, forcing Zhou Yi to leap aside in fear of its power. He landed drenched in cold sweat, barely escaping death. But in an instant, the boss appeared right beside him. It swung its massive blade, imbued with Conqueror's aura, shouting to kill. Zhou Yi gritted his teeth, blocking with his sword, exclaiming that its speed was beyond control. The blow sent him flying dozens of meters away. He steadied himself with his sword, realizing ranged weapons weren't suited for close combat. The boss attacked again, its next strike even stronger and fiercer. 6 tentacles lashed out wildly before he could switch weapons. One tentacle sliced across his abdomen, making him vomit blood in agony. Exhausted, he decided to gamble by using Divine Hand again. He sneered, mocking the boss as nothing but disgusting tentacles. The boss replied with a cold laugh, ready to finish him. It raised its sword to strike his head down. But at that moment, Zhou Yi activated Divine Hand, his arm glowing bright purple. In an instant, he stole the berserker blade, stunning the boss as it lost its weapon. He grasped the blood-red sword, checking its stats, a perfect dual sword type boosting attack and physique. Without hesitation, he used insight vision and 10 steps, 1 kill together. His eyes flared crimson as magic circles spun within his pupils. He dashed like lightning, leaving a long red streak behind. The boss was hit, frozen in shock, still muttering angrily about losing his sword and trusting his armor's invincibility. The boss suddenly spat blood, losing nearly 20% HP, his eyes darkened in disbelief. Zhou Yi calmly countered, using the boss's own sword with insight and 10 steps 1 kill for relentless strikes. The boss roared, transforming into a beast and triggering a berserk alarm. Its form turned monstrous, like an octopus with red eyes staring intensely at him. It threatened revenge, but Zhou Yi mocked it, taunting and ordering it to vanish. The Damocles sword was perfectly activated. The blade pierced straight through the boss. A massive explosion erupted like a nuclear blast. The system announced the world boss's defeat and asked for publicity. Zhou Yi chose secrecy. He was praised and received a golden chest, thrilled by the rare reward. Upon opening it, he was utterly shocked to find a strange item. A hidden quest activated, the unsent letter, requiring delivery to Xiaoyu in Wuming village, exciting him greatly. He recalled unlocking a hidden quest before and gaining a rare skill. Hidden quests were extremely rare, reflecting extraordinary luck and fate. Meanwhile, outside, another man smugly drank, assuming Zhou Yi had given up after 2 hours. The door burst open. He was stunned to see Zhou Yi himself enter, stammering in disbelief. He trembled, sweating as he wondered about the young man's true origin. Zhou Yi approached, tossed a heavy gold pouch on the table, saying it was 500 coins. He asked about a location. The man quickly checked the gold, confirmed it was real, and replied obsequiously. Zhou Yi handed over a paper asking about the position of Wuming village written on it. The man's face turned serious upon hearing that name. He drained his drink and spoke in a low tone. "Do you know who has no dreams?" "The dead. Wuming village is where the dead reside." Hearing that, Zhou Yi was stunned, murmuring village of the dead. The man continued. 30 miles west of Xinshou village. A tunnel leads there. The dungeon appears every midnight, with monsters at least level 25, far above current level 20 players. That dungeon also contains a level 30 boss with massive HP up to 100,000. Hearing this, Zhou Yi smiled while the man explained it was a fate-based dungeon. Success depended on choices, not killing, possibly granting hidden job items, but extremely dangerous. Zhou Yi made up his mind, waved thanks, and left despite the man calling after him. Excited, he prepared, deciding to clear inventory before entering, angering the man who doubted his true identity. The scene shifted to the real world, where in-game items could be truly traded. The Heelong Guild was one of the 3 largest trade organizations famed for being able to buy anything. As soon as he entered the hall, Zhou Yi froze in shock, startled to see his sister and the annoying ghost girl. The little ghost girl immediately pointed and tattled, making the sister question his presence while glaring at him in annoyance. The sister asked about his outfit, wondering if he'd become an assassin. He quickly nodded, silently thankful the mask hid his identity from Zhang Xiaoyu. Ziyu mocked him for switching to daggers. He retorted sharply, and she countered sarcastically, heightening the tension. The sister intervened, telling them to stop arguing, calming the situation. She changed the topic, saying she had bought gear to help him early on, but he immediately refused. Xiaoyu gave a cold, warning glare, scaring Zhou Yi into quickly agreeing and thanking her to avoid trouble. The sister happily called the receptionist, requesting the best high-grade assassin gear for a newbie. The staff promptly complied. The clerk smiled and guided him to the selection area while Zhou Yi tearfully lamented being forced to buy expensive items. The sister pointed at an elegant outfit with small horns, praising its match to his aura, a perfect high-tier set boosting intelligence and underwater breathing, priced at 200,000 gold, claiming it suited him best. He argued it was too flashy, saying assassins should be simpler. The clerk introduced the Dahua Perfect Set, granting +50 ice resistance, also 200,000 gold. She then showed a cute blue outfit boosting height and speed with sleek hair, still 200,000 gold. 2 hours later, Zhou Yi finally chose a favorite, a blood dragon wind coat, black shirt, black pants, and night-hide shoes, all perfect grade, totaling nearly 500,000 gold, making him look like a real heartthrob. Exhausted from endless trials, he sweated while the 2 girls excitedly praised how handsome he looked, proud of their fashion sense. Asking the price, his sister cheerfully paid over 18 yu, while Xiao Yu teased that he was being kept, leaving Zhou Yi sighing in resignation. Checking the time, he realized too much had passed and decided to leave. He told his sister and Xiao Yu to continue shopping while he returned to Shiguang for his quest. She reminded him not to play late, and he agreed before leaving. At Wumeng Village's entrance, a gloomy aura loomed. The system marked it as a level 2530 dungeon, danger 3 stars, describing a ruined village haunted by wandering souls. He advanced cautiously while activating defensive shields. Despite his vigilance, no level 25 monsters appeared for a long stretch. Looking back, he only saw a few children playing in the desolate yard. Suddenly, a little girl among them fell face first to the ground. Worried, Zhou Yi rushed over to ask if she was okay. She coldly replied she was fine. Then her body rose as a walking skeleton, eerie blue eyes glowing, softly thanking Big Brother. A tragic scene unfolded before him, screams, burning houses, and the little girl crying for her parents before falling silent. He trembled, sweating and clenching his teeth in fury at the tragedy. Painful memories of losing loved ones resurfaced, suffocating him, the past he wished to forget. The system issued a new quest: eliminate the Soul Knight to reach the dungeon's core. Zhou Yi drew his berserker blade, eyes burning with hatred. Seeing the knights appear, he coldly wondered if such brutal beings deserved the title Knight. Right after he spoke, several knights in the distance noticed him. Their deep blue eyes gleamed as they prepared to charge. System info: Soul Knight, level 25, HP 4000, MP 2000, skills, rush and jump slash. They roared forward like wild beasts. He sneered, casting stealth delay to silence them forever. While hidden, he scornfully muttered that this trash wasn't even worthy of his blade. One knight swung its sword at him but hit only empty air. A second later, Zhou Yi appeared behind it, landing a fatal strike that turned the skeleton knight to dust, saying coldly, "Rest in peace." Seeing their comrade fall, the rest went berserk and charged. Zhou Yi turned, gripping his sword for a lightning-fast slash. In an instant, all the knights were cut down, losing over 6,000 HP as red streaks trailed his steps. Sheathing his sword, he murmured that their deaths couldn't atone enough. The system showed. Soul Knight slain, EXP maxed out, excess sealed for second job advancement. The second quest activated, defeat the Undead Lord. From underground, a sharp hand emerged, exuding chilling aura. System scan. Undead Lord, level 30, HP 100,000, STR 8,000. Skilled Dark Orb, extremely evil, must be eliminated. It roared, declaring itself the Immortal Lord, ruler of darkness. Zhou Yi activated Insight and 10 steps. 1 kill, replying coldly, "Your words are worthless." He dashed forward, stabbing through its chest, ending its life instantly. Calmly, he said, "The dead should no longer sin." The boss shattered into light, only muttering angrily that it hadn't even fought back. System notice, you obtained 2 rare items. He picked them up, smiling at his incredible luck. The items were the Soul Bracelet, +130 strength and agility, able to summon a spirit ally, and Ghost Shadow Pauldrons, boosting speed by 30% for 5 seconds with a morph effect. Zhou Yi eagerly learned the skill, thrilled that 5-second flash speed was near invincible, then took the Lord's broken armor piece as proof of victory. He examined the item, guessing it was the key to the next quest, where the girl named Xiao Yu awaited ahead. A while later, he reached Wumeng Village's graveyard, where a girl's sobbing caught his attention. The mournful cries echoed. She called for her parents, trembling as she said the whole village had been slaughtered. He approached gently, asking, "Are you all right? Are you Xiao Yu?" The little girl turned, nodding through tears, confirming she was indeed Xiao Yu. Zhou Yi smiled gently, saying he came to help and didn't wish to disturb her. But before he could finish, the girl panicked, screaming when she saw his weapon, thinking it belonged to the killers. In fear, Xiao Yu cried and shoved him away, shouting that he came to hurt her. System alert. You have angered Xiao Yu. All her data became hidden. Zhou Yi panicked, trying to explain. She didn't listen, running off as he kept explaining, blue light radiating from him to show goodwill. But it was useless. Favorability at 0. Xiao Yu, eyes red, shouted for the dead souls to protect her from the villain. Instantly behind him, countless corpses with white eyes rose and screamed, charging at him. Xiao Yu commanded again, vowing not to let evil harm the villagers, urging the spirits to attack. He hesitated, wondering if he should fight a child. Doing so would make him no better than the cruel ones. Suddenly, he recalled the drunk man's words that this dungeon depended on choices, not killing, and decided to believe it. He lowered his sword, standing still without resistance. The screams persisted, the spirits demanding his life. Then amid the chaos, a voice spoke. He opened his eyes, hearing the voice say he had proven his sincerity. The spirits vanished, leaving him alone in silence, facing the direction of the voice. A white mist spread, blanketing the area. A woman's voice within the mist commanded the spirits to rest and return to peace. As the mist cleared, a slim, veiled girl in black appeared before him. Chui stood stunned, captivated by her mysterious, cold beauty. Xiao Yu cried out joyfully, running to hug the girl and calling her sister, surprising him further. The black-clad girl bent down, gently stroking Xiao Yu's cheek, assuring her that no one would harm her again. Zhou Yi watched silently, filled with indescribable emotions. He smiled faintly, thinking how the cold girl showed such warm tenderness toward the child. He blushed, coughed to calm himself, puzzled by the strange feeling. The woman in black caressed Xiao Yu's face softly, secretly amazed by how alike the two of them looked. Xiao Yu pointed at Zhou Yi, asking her sister Qingyu to drive him away, seemingly misunderstanding something. Qingyu patted Xiao Yu's head, apologizing and explaining the child was an orphan who distrusted strangers. He glanced at the system log revealing Xiao Yu's background, curiously asking Qingyu what had happened to Wumeng village. Qingyu lowered her head sadly, saying that 10 years ago the place was once called Wuyu Village. The villagers were hard-working, self-reliant, and harmonious. Xiaoyu's family, though poor, was filled with joy and love. One day a wounded stranger appeared. The villagers helped him without hesitation, but they never knew they had saved demons disguised as humans. He realized those monsters must be the ones he had just slain. Qingyu confirmed that those knights slaughtered the entire village after recovering. Xiaoyu burst into tears, blaming herself for her family's and villagers' deaths. Qingyu choked up, explaining that after the massacre, the villagers' souls were trapped in a loop of regret accidentally created by Xiaoyu. The girl began losing emotional control. Qingyu urged Zhu Yi to leave quickly, warning he'd become a spirit too if he stayed. A storm of resentment erupted, black lightning and cries roaring as the system warned the rescue success rate was only 1%. Xiaoyu screamed and the vortex grew fiercer. Qingyu struggled forward through the chaos toward the girl. Zhou Yi quickly grabbed her hand, stopping her. He asked if she intended to go with him. She apologized, insisting she couldn't let the child become a mad soul and was determined to save her. Zhou Yi ordered her to stay and vowed to rescue the child himself. Qingyu was stunned that he would risk his life for an orphan. He moved toward the girl as the storm raged stronger. Reaching her, he whispered that he had come to deliver a letter. When he handed it over, her crying stopped. She looked at it tearfully as he explained it was found after defeating a dark knight and might be her clue. She read it and realized everything had been orchestrated to destroy the village. Even if she hadn't acted, the villains would still have come to bring disaster. Zhou Yi laid a comforting hand on her shoulder, saying it was her fault. Xiaoyu looked at him with mixed relief and sorrow, thanking the traveler. She said she could finally rest in peace, glowing white before fading away. Qingyu also cried, touched and grateful to him. They stood beneath the sunset as Qingyu suggested preserving everything about the village. As thanks, she gave him a medal named Reaper's Emblem, unlocking the special job Reaper, requiring Thief and Necromancer classes, minimum level 20. Zhou Yi looked at it in confusion, wondering if it was too valuable and if she wished to take it back. She said no, and he accepted it, noting gifts couldn't be reclaimed once given. Qingyu teasingly remarked at his red face, guessing he might be a girl. Embarrassed, she turned away, saying she had matters to attend to and would see him again. Zhou Yi gripped the relic tightly, saying her gift marked their destined connection. Qingyu blushed and held him tightly while he called out from afar, "See you again, Qingyu." The scene shifted to White Emperor City Center. There, an emergency meeting was underway. The tense air thickened as a shoulder-length-haired man reported that among the city's 12 rare professions, 3 had died within 2 days, suspecting the Death Star's involvement. City Lord Baijian sneered, saying the Death Star was nothing to fear and threatening to punish anyone who slandered him. The blond man hurried to calm him, saying investigators were already deployed and urged everyone to wait for the truth. Vice Lord Tuo Heng reassured him. As they discussed, someone mentioned that if the Death Star truly caused it, City Lord Baijian would surely seek justice. Just then, footsteps echoed outside the door. A soldier entered, requesting permission to report to the City Lord. He said that 3 hours earlier, during a bar inspection, they found traces of Du Ye, a D-rank assassin from the Zhongyin Church, and a suspicious item. The 3 arguing men fell silent, focusing on the evidence. It was a kill order listing every awakened rare class holder in White Emperor City. Baijian slammed the table in rage, furious that even Zixing's name appeared on the list. He stood up, ordering a full alert and guards dispatched to protect all awakened individuals. The blond man noticed something odd and called for the city lord to stop. He pointed out that Zixing's ID had no personal data or contact information. The scene shifted to Zhou Yi's home. He smiled, gazing at the medal Qingyu had given him, softly murmuring her name. His sister suddenly appeared behind, teasing that he hadn't stopped staring at it all morning. She laughed, saying anyone would think it was a lover's gift, startling Zhou Yi. He blushed while his sister leaned closer, teasing him playfully. She laughed, hugging him and joking he'd grown up, while he blushed and pleaded for her to let go. Finally releasing him, she told him to use the medal to change class, then come down for breakfast, as he sat breathless on the chair. As she closed the door, his sister suddenly remembered something. She wondered how her brother, newly awakened, could already advance to a second job. Then she chuckled, dismissing the thought, humming, "Stay a little longer, my love," as she walked away. Inside, Zhou Yi began the job change process, selecting yes when the system asked if he wished to become a Reaper. A notification congratulated Zixing, Zhou Yi, on successfully advancing to second-tier Reaper, displaying all new stats, titles, and special skills. His whole body glowed with power. The second job ascension made his attributes surge, his body lighter and senses sharper. He even felt that a bare-handed punch could shatter metal. Unable to contain the surging energy, he rushed forward and clenched his fist toward the wall. The metal wall instantly cracked and crumbled, debris scattering as outsiders wondered what happened. Rumors spread, neighbors shouted questions, and he panicked, sweating profusely. He called for his family, but heard they had gone out to work. Glancing at his interface, he shivered, noticing the power of the person mentioned in the letter was weakening his own. However, he realized it was a natural bloodline suppression effect imposed by his family. After a brief silence, he quietly stepped back to another corner. Checking his stats, he saw clear boosts in strength, constitution, magic, agility, and intelligence. 2 new skills and a new talent surprised him. At a higher threshold, an exclusive talent would unlock, causing each strike to drain enemies' HP and deal bonus damage based on their max health. The thought of reaching that milestone thrilled him, as he imagined himself becoming the embodiment of death. Without hesitation, he carried his old sword to hunt monsters for more experience. He rushed into the hunting grounds, determined to level up quickly. Suddenly, a voice reminded him to clean up the mess he'd made. He froze and exclaimed, "Oh no!" A moment later, he trudged along carrying 2 heavy trash bags, looking like a caught thief. A female voice cheerfully called out to 2 guys from behind. A sharp-looking girl with a perfect figure descended the stairs, introducing herself as a member of the Assassin Guild and inviting him to join. She handed him an invitation, promising mentorship for fast advancement if he shared 10% of his earnings with the guild. Zhou Yi's cold attitude forced her to switch tactics, inviting him elsewhere for some private discussion. The revealing red-haired girl tugged her shirt down provocatively, but he calmly waved her off like a monk. She was stunned that her charm had no effect on him. He shoved his hands into his pockets and walked away as she shouted after him. She complained he'd ruined her KPI, but he just smirked and waved dismissively. Furious, she vowed to lure him to a secluded spot later to complete her mission. Suddenly, he stopped and smirked, saying that if she'd picked another place, he might have been tempted. He recalled the saying, "Anyone approaching while you're busy usually has hidden motives." He explained that he'd promised his sister to join the guild where she was the vice leader, ignoring the girl's persuasion. He added that the guild master was his sister's lover. The girl licked her lips with a sinister look, calling him interesting and saying she'd spare him for now but would play later. The scene shifted to Emerald Forest, a level 30 monster zone filled with explosions. There, Zhou Yi fiercely swung his sword, slashing monsters as light flared and hordes fell. Nearby, another player was about to deliver the finishing blow to a boss. But before he could, an energy orb flew from afar and killed the boss instantly. The man screamed in rage as half a day's effort was stolen. Zhou Yi stood in the battlefield center, his experience bar rising non-stop. Onlookers whispered, some rushing over and shouting that he'd stolen all the monsters. As soon as he moved, panic broke out. Some fainted, others fled in terror. He sheathed his sword in his right hand, calm yet imposing. Checking his status, he saw himself, Zixing, level 22, second-tier Reaper, annoyed that 3 hours of fighting gained only 1 level. Seeing the dense monsters, he calculated it would take 2 more days to reach level 25 for a new skill and felt the pace was too slow. The people behind laughed, mocking him for thinking he could gain 3 levels in a few days. They ridiculed the young man's arrogance, saying he lacked real strength. Joey folded his arms, replying that hunting grounds were public. Power decides who rules. One man cursed and declared the area belonged to their guild. The archer ordered an attack, and the group shouted in unison to take Joey down. Joey immediately took a battle stance, ready to respond. He challenged the group to come at him and test their strength. They attacked in unison, while Joey, expression cold, drew his sword. With just a few moves, 4 foes were defeated, having overestimated themselves. From afar, a man holding a sword prepared to ambush him. The attacker charged with both hands gripping his sword, shouting threats to kill. Joey countered with a lightning sphere, erasing the assailant. The man collapsed, eyes white, mouth spewing smoke and black blood miserably. The attacker instantly lost consciousness and fainted. Some witnesses, filled with fear and regret, knelt to beg for mercy. They surrendered, pledging never to trespass on this territory again. Joey coldly said he could spare them, but asked if they knew a faster leveling method. A trembling, dark-faced man said there was a secret realm deep in the Fei Shui forest. They were following their boss's orders to find it, prompting Joey to investigate. The remaining ones feared punishment for leaking information from their group. Another mocked that it was a mantis catching cicada scheme and they were being watched. After Joey left, the leader swore revenge, vowing to use the boss to kill him. The scene shifted deeper into Fei Shui forest, shrouded in danger and fog. Chuyi wondered why the path led back to the same place, suspicious. He questioned whether this monster zone truly hid a secret realm worth finding. The system announced a random quest, Werewolf Homeland Secret Realm, a level 30-40 raid for 25 players, 3-hour limit, rewards after completion. A portal appeared, revealing a massive pack of level 30-40 wolves densely gathered, making the area perilous. The terrain looked ideal for training, so Joey rushed in, unaware it might be a deadly trap. Scene switched inside. The game timer showed 15 minutes and 28 seconds left. The system announced he cleared the werewolf homeland, rewards added to inventory, though he felt unsatisfied by its low difficulty. A warning appeared not to expect only rare loot, asking if he wanted to open the chest. When he opened it, his eyes lit up with excitement, feeling incredibly lucky. The rewards included a level 40 weapon, level 30 necklace, unique gem, and twin level 40 swords, all valuable items. Looking at the loot, he concluded the secret realm's quality was decent. With his inventory nearly full, he decided to sort and discard junk items. Some swords had mediocre stats and were marked for sale, while the Damoclet sword was kept. As he worked, a message popped up congratulating him on reaching level 31 and unlocking the level 25 system skill, a fine achievement. The new skill Death Crow summoned blood ravens, dropping 72 feathers on a target area, immobilizing foes for 10 seconds, unavoidable and unremovable. He found the skill intriguing and eagerly wanted to test it right away. Suddenly, a shout from behind exposed someone stealing secret realm info as a major member of the Shen Feng Guild appeared. He was the guild leader of Shen Feng, a level 40 elite assassin. The leader declared he had entered first and claimed the item Joey sought. Joey coldly replied that he was just a trader who sold intel for survival, and now it was time to settle it. The disciple hurriedly defended himself before the leader, insisting Joey was lying. A hand instantly struck the disciple's head, spreading thick, purple demonic energy. The enraged leader mocked their similar hair, his eyes turning cold as an abyss. He roared, calling Joey a scoundrel, and ordered him captured for punishment. Joey trembled slightly before the power of a level 40 leader. He was cornered but stayed calm to handle the situation. He decided to use this chance to test his new ability. With an explosion, Joey turned into a black crow soaring upward as the thieves panicked in the smoke. He realized the crow form provided excellent stealth and wanted to test older skills. In crow form, he activated the Death Vision skill. All enemy weak points appeared, revealing the leader's hands as the main weakness. He decided to use the Divine Hand skill. Shouting loudly, he summoned divine power. He dashed past the enemy before the latter could react. The system reported successful fusion of a new contract skill, seemingly very powerful. The guild leader sensed something odd passing by him. He activated Blood Sense, his eyes glowing red. He spotted the crow above and ordered it killed immediately. The system announced the crow's death triggered a 72-feather area attack, immobilizing enemies for 10 seconds, unavoidable. A rain of feathers fell, killing 2 thieves in a bloody instant. The leader quickly responded, raising his hand to summon blood thralls. All blood thralls within 500 meters were summoned and rushed toward him. His body transformed into a half-human, half-crow form with wide black wings. He charged with a boomerang sword, explosions of earth and stone startling everyone nearby. He was shocked to realize the young man wasn't ordinary at all. He praised the sword's value, threatening to dismantle and sell it after victory. The Bloodmaster slave link allowed him to resurrect and control them any time. Zhu Yi now better understood his opponent's attack pattern and power. The leader immediately ordered several assassins to surround Zhou Yi. He changed plans, turn the victim into a blood slave, and use his sword to finish the scheme. Zhou Yi, furious, eyes red and face darkened, radiated killing intent as he pointed his sword, vowing revenge. He raised a blue glowing orb, a faint confident smile on his lips. A notification sounded as he entered the werewolf homeland secret realm. The gate closed in 10 seconds while the enemies arrogantly laughed, unaware of imminent doom. The bald leader mocked Zhou Yi and, with his followers, chased into the dungeon to capture him alive. Upon entry, wild wolves sensed intruders, howled warnings, and charged. This was the hidden land of werewolves. The bald man laughed loudly, insulting Zhou Yi for choosing death over becoming his blood slave. The wolf leader roared in vengeance, the system showing level 40, HP 80,000, MP 40,000, and 3 deadly skills. King of Wolves. Zhou Yi examined the stats and laughed, confirming it was the wolf lord he needed. He cast the Blood Prison Pact, politely apologizing to the beast for what he was about to do. The contract was successfully completed. The spirit wolf knelt, pledging loyalty and awaiting orders from its new master. He ordered it to slaughter all intruders. The wolf roared in response, eyes glowing red, signaling massacre. The bald man froze, realizing Zhou Yi had mastered his secret technique. Sweat poured as his grin vanished. The wolf lord led the pack into a frenzy as Zhou Yi in crow form attacked from above, raining black feathers. The maddened wolves tore through foes, the battle turning entirely in Zhou Yi's favor. The guild leader tried to flee but was struck down by the alpha wolf. He fell to the ground, trembling and begging for mercy. In despair, he promised all his treasures in exchange for his life. Standing atop the wolf leader, Zhou Yi coldly asked if he didn't want his sword anymore. The bald man, terrified, went pale and swallowed hard in fear. A purple lightning bolt struck, the thunder sphere exploding and engulfing him in blinding light. His scream echoed, then faded, his body turned to ash, ending in a fittingly miserable death. Zhou Yi sheathed his sword and calmly left the dungeon as the smoke cleared. Outside, he activated the Jingkai mask to change his appearance and identity. He cheerfully confirmed the nickname change, and the system announced the update. Someone said it was late and suggested returning to their base. Zhou Yi recognized the woman as Mo Ling Yu, a rare-class witch inviting him to join her guild. She replied she would think about it, accepting his card and saying he could contact her any time. Zhou Yi decided to follow her to uncover her true intentions. Their heated interaction almost overwhelmed him. Suddenly, the woman turned around mid-undress, alarmed and shouting someone's name. She sensed someone watching her, a whisper warning her instincts. Her assassin instincts had never failed, so she stayed alert. Zhou Yi realized she was also an assassin like him. The system revealed her info: level 40 assassin with advanced monster hunting skills and complex combat structure. He wondered why she was out recruiting people while appearing so ordinary. She changed into a short red outfit, walking gracefully and attractively. The phone rang. She answered, saying she had decided to join the Callers Guild. The caller was pleased and arranged a meeting to sign the contract, and she promised to send her location. She rejoiced at successfully luring her target, humming cheerfully as she walked. The scene shifted to inside the Uniming Hotel. A question arose about why a woman would return to her resting place. If many people awaken rare professions, their rarity would lose value. After saying that, she closed the door and said goodbye firmly. Zhou Yi arrived, but was one step too late for the event. The woman acted swiftly, precisely, and ruthlessly, and clearly not weak. He thought if he had been tricked earlier, he'd already be dead, panicking and flying off for help. A few days later, at a hot spring, no one had shown up. He noticed her chest was larger and was about to kiss when a phone rang. His lover called. It was a distant younger brother. Xiao Yu hugged the black-haired girl, pleading for her to answer. She reluctantly agreed. Xiao Yu grew angry that the boy kept clinging to his sister, saying he should live his own nightlife. Xiao Yu held tighter, blushing, reminding her it was his birthday so she couldn't ignore him. Xiao Yu pouted cutely, jealous yet endearing. Elsewhere, people worried when she didn't pick up. Zhou Yi sped toward her car. The scene showed a prosperous district in a wealthy city. A man hummed a hymn, making Zhou Yaya frown and hesitate to sit. They turned out to be agents of the Zhongyan Church. Recent murders made Bai Zhen suspicious, and the investigation was still ongoing. The Zhongyan Church was a large, evil cult of dangerous fanatics, and she was now their target. The commander aimed at her, questioning the link between 20 Awakeners and the one called the Death Emperor. He insisted the Death Emperor was among those 20, since only that could seize the Forbidden Yang relic. Zhou Yi was shocked to realize his worth had drawn such elaborate schemes. One questioned the obsession with the Death Emperor, but another explained that the higher-ups saw him as the key to resurrecting the Zhongyan leader. Zijun listened to the ambition for the Forbidden Yang relic, believing that possessing it would make him invincible. He gripped 5 orbs behind his back, waiting for the moment to strike. Zijun declared that if Zhou Yaya found the Death Emperor's trace and destroyed the Scorpion Woman, they would seize the Forbidden Yang relic. The Scorpion Woman produced a photo of Zhou Yi, demanding an investigation, suspecting he was the Death Emperor. Zhou Yi was stunned that she could so accurately deduce that clue. She described him as ordinary but resistant to illusions, her instincts telling her he was powerful. He agreed to assist in tracking him and suggested attacking through his sister as a strategy. Zhou Yi grew furious at the plot targeting his family and swore not to let the cult succeed. He unleashed power that made the wall behind him rumble under the force. Zhou Yaya turned in shock while the man with the orb claimed the crow had been following them all along. Seizing on their distraction, he smirked slyly and attacked as 2 others nearby heard strange noises. Zhao Jun kicked Zhou Yaya, activating the level 60 shield tower skill, blocking all interference for 30 minutes. Zhou Yaya, enraged by betrayal, faced Zhao Jun's sinister grin as he said no one could resist desiring the Forbidden Yang relic. Zhou Yi was shocked to see them now fighting each other. She countered, activating level 40 Toxic Dragon Circle, creating a 10-meter corrosive zone dealing 20% damage for 10 seconds. The two clashed fiercely, the shockwave forcing Zhou Yi to fly up to avoid it. Zhao Jin roared, casting level 60 unintentional golden body, turning his body metallic and immune to physical damage for 10 seconds. Zhou Yaya coldly retorted, declaring she'd show him what useless truly meant. She activated Flowing Light Burst, boosting speed and creating multiple afterimages encircling him. Zhao Jun gritted his teeth, stomped hard, and kicked up a storm of dust and rock. Their collision cracked the ground violently. Zhou Yaya retreated, gliding through the dust to dodge the backlash. She maintained calm rhythm, showing mastery of a twice-awakened level 40 assassin's skill. Zhao Jun admitted she was stronger than he expected and understood why the church sent her. They clashed again, blades striking with piercing sounds. Zhou Yaya tilted her body, gathering power for a fatal strike. She screamed, eyes glowing red, killing intent surging. But Zhao Jun was faster, blocking and punching her in the stomach, sending her backward. Zhou Yi realized it was his chance to intervene. He dove down, unleashing 72 feathers from the sky, creating an area attack immobilizing targets for 10 seconds, unavoidable. Seeing the attack, both quickly split and dodged. Zhao Jun, running, assumed the crow was helping him, thinking it might be a rich man's pet beast. One feather hit Zhou Yaya's chest, freezing her for 10 seconds as she cried out in shock. Zhao Jun kept dodging while Zhou Yi attacked relentlessly from above. Zhao Jun laughed gleefully, thinking the situation favored him. He slashed Zhou Yaya's shoulder, shattering half her armor. She screamed angrily as her dress tore, then the bind effect vanished. Zhou Yaya grabbed the sword from his hand, face twisted with fury, shouting for his death. Sword energy bursts shot from her, piercing Zhou Jun's body and spraying blood everywhere. From above, Zhou Yi watched, regretting his light hit and realizing he was still weak compared to level 40s. After the fierce exchange, Zhou Yaya stepped forward, coldly declaring both he and the crow were traitors and that she had long wanted to leave the church. Zhao Jun, though dying, still growled curses, claiming he was forced to betray because his family's lives were threatened. The two argued fiercely. Hearing her words, Zhou Yi was confused why she treated him as her possession. Chu Yaya suddenly changed demeanor, casting a charm-type spell. Zhao Jun sneered, mocking that such magic only worked on other players. She triumphantly declared she had claimed the precious black crow, prompting Zhou Yi to instantly devise a counterplan. As the black crow charged, Zhou Yaya ordered it to attack Zhao Jun. Zhou Yi pretended to cooperate, firing feathers that forced Zhao Jun into desperate defense.